Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is currently 12:07 p.m. Central, and you have a live look at an ongoing rotating supercell approaching Louisville, Kentucky. Excuse me, not a supercell, but a rotating part of this line of storms here moving over the Ohio River right now, moving into Kentucky. And I think that this storm is going to get a tornado warning at any minute here because this is some serious rotation that we're talking about. Again, this is right over the Indiana-Kentucky state line, and again, the velocities are pretty strong with this area of rotation, right? We're talking about gate-to-gate shear being at about 90 miles per hour. So, again, I am expecting a tornado warning to be issued for this storm very shortly here. This is a storm near Crandall, Breckenbridge, and Lanesville. So if you're in any of those areas, prepare to take shelter if necessary because, again, this is some rotation that has been ramping up significantly over the past few radar scans. So this is going to be approaching Interstate 64 southwest of Georgetown, so make sure to look out for that. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for portions of the Ohio River Valley here. This includes portions of Indiana and Kentucky. The main threats with this include scattered, damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour likely and a tornado or two possible. Can't rule it out, but it's a low chance, alright? And again, I think if we do get a tornado, it'll be this storm, actually, that gives us our greatest chance. I doubt we're going to see any sort of rotation that's this strong later into the day, at least in the Ohio River. We do have a 5% tornado risk out for the Ohio River, which was quite surprising to see. But they went ahead and threw it out here. So there we go. There's our tornado warning. And that tornado warning is for the western side of Louisville. So this is for the greater western portions of Louisville, Kentucky. Seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a building and away from windows. All right. I called that at a pretty good time there. So again, this is for northeastern Harrison County in south central Indiana and Floyd County in south central Indiana. Take cover now. So I'm going to go ahead and update the stream title here as we now have a tornado warning for western Louisville. So again, this is a really, really dangerous storm here. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, so take shelter immediately. This is actually, again, probably one of our better chances that we're going to see today for a potential tornado touchdown here. So again, we're asking everybody in western Louisville to be in their tornado safe spot as this is an incredibly dangerous storm here. Again, approaching the Interstate 64 area south of Georgetown near Lanesville. All right, so the rotation actually did take a significant bite on that most recent velocity scan, of course, as soon as the tornado warning got issued, but it's still a very noticeable velocity couplet. It could just be in a cycling phase, so again, we need you all to take shelter immediately if you are along Interstate 64 there in between Corydon and New Albany. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the stream chat here, so if anybody has any questions about the location, feel free to leave those down below. Try to answer them accurately and honestly. But yeah, this is, again, a really dangerous storm here, so you got to look out for it. Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. Cottonwood, Minnesota. Is it this storm? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we may have some broad rotation up there on some of our southwest Minnesota storms, actually. Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. Again, it's a bummer because I'm sure there's a lot of 4th of July cookout parties going on here, and they're going to be ruined pretty significantly. So again, west side of Louisville, we need you all to be in your tornado safe spot in an interior room on the lowest floor of a building, away from windows. This is a really dangerous situation here. Again, the rotation has really been ramping up over the past few scans. The most recent scan, it's a little less noticeable, but still. North Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, so North Little Rock actually is just outside of the marginal risk of severe weather. I wouldn't rule out an isolated shower storm. In fact, it looks like you've already got some convection there near Bryan and Salem, but it's not going to be anything major, luckily. Noobtown's about to get hit. Where's Noobtown? You went to see a parade this morning. It sucks to see severe weather on this day. Yeah, and again, I really wish that I didn't have to be here for this, but again, tornado warning in effect. So we're gonna cover it accurately and honestly. It is good to be here, and help some people out, especially whenever we're in an area this populated. I just can't ignore a storm like this. So, again, we're going to watch it. So, again, a little bit of a broadening in the rotation occurring right now, a little bit weaker, but still there, still very noticeable. So, again, if you're along Interstate 64 there, I mean, this is coming in right now. Again, there's no confirmed tornado with this yet. But it's been close several times. It has. Is this warning near Louisville? Yes, this is for western Louisville, Kentucky. So again, there's your rotation off to the northwest of Lanesville, southwest of Georgetown, west of Edwardsville, and southeast of Crandall. So, again, for anybody just not tuning in, we have a tornado warning for western Louisville, Kentucky. Currently, we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado right along Interstate 64 north of Lanesville. So, if you're in this area, we need you to seek shelter immediately. Again, a tornado is, possible with this storm here at any minute. So, can you get to that tornado safe spot? Yeah, I feel bad for anybody that has to deal with this. This also could be a rain-wrapped tornado, so don't go outside and try to look for this thing. Little chance this will get warned, but broad rotation near Ashland, West Virginia. Let's check it out. Is it this storm? Where's Ashland? Let's see, I doubt any of these little thunder showers are rotating. Possibly on the ground, a scan ago? Yeah, we were live here several minutes before this actually received a tornado warning. It's gonna rain all day for you for the 4th of July. Yeah, it rained this all the morning for me, so I feel it. But yeah, again, this is a pretty dangerous situation here. That's not the Ashland. That was Ashland, West Virginia. Unless there's multiple. I don't think that's possible, though. This rotation is going to be heading right into Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're even in downtown Louisville, I'd prepare to take shelter. Huntington, West Virginia. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, it's just not that impressive a rotation anymore, but it's just enough for them to keep this tornado warning in effect. So again, right now it's north of Lanesville. Huntington. Definitely seen that name before, yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing too crazy, but there's a few pockets of what maybe some rotation there. So we'll watch that. Oh my gosh, I don't know why my voice... that wasn't even just a voice crack. I was like, so we'll watch that. No, but... Again, our main focus, though, is going to be on our Louisville storm here. As again, this is a tornado-warned storm in a very populated area. And it has a really good chance of producing a tornado, I think. And again, it's going to be heading right into Louisville over the next several minutes. We do have a secondary severe weather threat today up here in the parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. We've got ourselves a slight risk of severe weather. Up here, we do have ourselves a low chance of a tornado, but we can't rule it out. It's a 2% chance. Damaging wind threat, all right, 15% chance to see wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or higher in your town. Hail threat, 15% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger in your town. You'll notice that out here along the Ohio River, we actually don't have any hail threat, which is kind of crazy. But this risk here in the Ohio River goes all the way back towards the Red River Valley. So, gusty winds heading into Charleston. Yeah. So, Again, this line of storms is definitely going to be approaching Charleston here over the next several minutes. Again, currently warned for 40-mile-an-hour winds and pea-sized hail. Yeah, can't rule out a funnel cloud with our tornado warning storm. There may have already been one, but again, we don't have any confirmation on that because it's likely rain-wrapped anyway. And again, obviously our chasers aren't out there today. They're enjoying their 4th of July. Actually, Vince Welty's in Wisconsin right now. So he actually may be chasing. But, again, that's our very concerning area of circulation there. Again, heading into downtown Louisville. Again, it's weaker and it's more broad at this point. But, still something to look out for. But, again, no sort of debris signature yet on it or anything. By the way, to make sure that you're keeping up with the stream, you can go ahead and go into the little settings icon in the bottom right hand corner of the video and change the speed to 2 times. And that'll cut down the latency from about 20 seconds down to, 3 seconds or so. So if you do all in 2 times speed, it'll automatically go back down whenever it's done catching up, and then you'll be watching this in almost exactly live time. So, just a little quick tip there. The main threat is wind today. Yeah, I don't know though. The threat for tornadoes isn't super high today, but the fact that there is one there is pretty bad, because obviously tornadoes are usually way more destructive than wind and hail. So the tornado threat, you could also make an argument for being the greatest threat today, even though it's not quite as high a chance. But, again, our goal today is to see 0 tornadoes, but we can't really control it. But the best we can do is sit here and bring you guys severe weather coverage whenever we do have the chance to see a tornado, and let you guys know what's happening. So again, at this point, Lanesville, Georgetown, westward is good. We're not concerned about that area, but off to the east, we're still concerned about, will they extend the tornado warning? It's going to depend how this rotation performs over the next 25 minutes here. I think they'll probably extend it, or at least have a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag as it enters Louisville. So watch out for that. But yeah, there's definitely a chance that they extend it there. And again, right now, that's to the south of Interstate 64, south of Edwardsville. So... But the 5% tornado risk in Kansas and Missouri, yeah, that's kind of where I predicted it to be. I said somewhere in southern Missouri, because I actually do think that we'll have a slightly elevated tornado risk there, but apparently the folks at the Storm Prediction Center disagree, and they would have had to end through it a little bit further eastward. But... anybody wondering about Beryl? Beryl is still a major hurricane. Hold on, we got a new velocity scan. Alright, weak rotation at this point. Beryl is still a major hurricane. It's a low-end Category 3 hurricane with sustained winds of 115 miles per hour and maximum gusts up to 140. It is expected to make landfall just to the south of Cancun as a Category 1, with high-end Category 1 with sustained winds of 80 miles an hour and maximum gusts up to 100 miles an hour. It's expected to enter the Gulf, re-strengthen as it approaches northeast Mexico and southeast Texas, and then it will make landfall as, right now it's looking like as a low-end Category 1 hurricane with 75 mile an hour sustained winds and 90 mile an hour gusts. But look at how quickly it weakens once it, makes its way to shore, right? We're talking about a Category 1 hurricane at landfall, but even once you start to get, 200 miles in, it's down to a depression, all right? Very weak system, and again, the National Hurricane Center is kind of leaning towards the idea of maybe this traveling a little bit more westward after the U.S. landfall. Yeah, I don't think the tornado warning will get extended unless we see a significant increase in rotation here, which I don't think is going to happen. But yeah, I mean, the first tornado warning storm of the day was in the Storm Prediction Center's 5% tornado risk area, so shockingly, models predict intensifying again in Texas. Really? Yeah, I haven't looked today, so. We've also got Tropical Depression 1E out in the Eastern Pacific. Not gonna do anything. Not gonna hurt anybody. Really going to be a pretty weak system throughout its entire lifetime. Oops. Okay. Yeah, there's not really any other storms right now that are that impressive other than our Louisville storm. We'll bring up the Northwest Iowa cam here. They're getting slammed by a storm right now. And there we go. Our tornado warning has officially been removed, but we're going to keep this live coverage going for y'all. Just a second. Yeah, do watch out for gusty winds with our storm still, definitely. But I think just in general, our line of storms here that crossed the Ohio River kind of weakened out after that happened. Nothing to do with the Ohio River, but it's just kind of the fact of the matter. A little bit more intense earlier. But again, I wouldn't rule out another isolated storm trying to rotate with this line, and it actually looks like we do have some prefrontals trying to develop, so we'll see if we get something like this. This could try and rotate, definitely, and it actually is rotating already. So this is going to be our next storm that we have to watch. Wow, that picked up fast. So Tobacco Landing, Laconia, this is where our area of rotation is that we're watching now. Again, this little prefrontal supercell here has kind of made its appearance, and now has some broad rotation with it. So we'll watch that. Again, right now it's in Indiana, but it's going to cross the Ohio River very soon here. Near Evans Landing and New Boston. Again, it's broad rotation as of right now, but we'll watch it to see if it tightens up at all. Again, look at how much rain they're getting dumped on by on our Northwest Iowa cam. That's crazy. Yeah, this storm will probably get a tornado warning if the rotation becomes a little bit tighter here. The reason it popped off so fast is because it underwent a cell merger near Brandenburg, so now it's a really beefy supercell here. And again, this could be a rain-wrapped tornado if it does produce a tornado, so don't go outside and try to look for this thing whenever the warning gets issued. You just need to get to your safe spot. So, again, for anybody just not tuning in, we are watching this rotating storm over the Ohio River on the Indiana-Kentucky state line near Laconia and Tobacco Landing. So if you're in this area, make sure to look out for this. If you know anybody in this area, make sure to send them this stream because we're going to be here covering this for a little bit. Also notice we also have some very broad rotation developing near Floyd's Knobs and St. Mary's. I feel like you see that camera all the time. Yeah, we use it quite a bit. I mean, it is in Tornado Alley, so. And now that storm does have a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts. I can't believe they didn't at least put the tornado possible tag on that one. But they did not. Interesting decision there by the National Weather Service. There's definitely broad rotation there. But make sure you are getting indoors in this area. Yeah, look at how nice and juicy this atmosphere is for tornadic production. We are talking about temperatures in the high 80s and dew points in the mid 70s. That is crazy stuff. Alright, that rotation really died over the past scan. Now I look kind of silly saying that they should, put the tornado possible tag on that. So again, we're watching this broad rotation near New Albany, entering Louisville. Our actual original area of rotation, again, the one that got the tornado warning is done now, so that's good news. Let's actually look at Beryl on satellite imagery real quick. So this is what it looks like as right now. You can definitely tell it's quite a bit less impressive than it was, 48 hours ago, whenever we were talking about a major Category 5 hurricane. Still looks like it actually is almost starting to intensify again, if anything. So we'll see what happens there. Again, we're expecting a landfall south of Cancun. But wouldn't be surprised to see 65-mile-an-hour winds with that severe. Yeah, I mean, even though the rotation's kind of dead, we're still definitely going to see some increased winds with that storm, which I think is why they went ahead and slapped on that severe thunderstorm warning for it. And, again, I think that they're probably going to keep that severe warning throughout its entire lifetime until it expires there. So, but yeah, Beryl is a beast. It is. Continuing its major hurricane status. I mean, that's just, you can't really see the eye very well anymore, but you can definitely notice it, notice where it was. And, again, some of those outer bands are going to be pretty nasty for a damaging wind, heavy rain, and then also a tornado threat. So we'll watch them as they approach south of Cancun, and especially the United States. But again, unfortunately, I won't be able to go live for this thing's landfall in the U.S. if it does have one. The U.S./Mexico landfall I will not be able to go live for, unfortunately. I'll be able to go live for this one. I'm not sure if I will. I'm sure that I'll have an update on it tonight and probably tomorrow night, but I don't know if I'll be live for the actual landfall of it. But yeah, things are getting a little bit more certain that we are almost definitely going to see a landfall in northeast Mexico or maybe even southeast Texas if things really take a turn for the worst here. The reason I say take a turn for the worst is because obviously southeast Texas is way more populated than northeast Mexico here, so we'll see what happens with that. But strong winds heading into Charleston could get severe. I mean, at this point, they don't even have a special weather statement for it, which I think is an interesting play. But yeah, those are definitely some stronger winds there near Sod and Forks of Coal. Interesting name. Kind of along Highway 119, there's where that's riding. So again, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here, but this storm's no longer rotating really at all. Again, some sort of broad rotation, maybe up near New Albany. But let's actually go ahead and look at the models, alright? What's the forecast for today? Let's go ahead and go into the HRRR here. So, this is what I was expecting, or this is what is going on right now, right? So, obviously we have those storms along the Ohio River. We've also got some intense storms entering West Virginia. Even some storms along the Indiana-Ohio state line, pretty much now fully in Ohio. And those are going to continue to sweep through the afternoon time hours, but really produce a low chance of severe thunderstorms. I'm really surprised they issued that severe thunderstorm watch there for parts of Indiana and Kentucky. But they're going to continue, all right? And I think around 3 p.m. we are going to have an enhanced tornado risk for portions of maybe eastern Kentucky. We've got ourselves maybe some supercells that try to fire off around 3 p.m. according to the HRRR. Same thing for 4 p.m., 5 p.m. going into southeast Ohio and just southwest West Virginia there. And then also around 5 p.m. we can really see some major convection ongoing up here into parts of Iowa and Minnesota. Again, mainly going to actually be a damaging wind and large hail threat, as discrete supercells are not likely. So we'll watch that, but again, the tornado threat's not great with those storms. By 6 p.m., we can also see some storms firing off here in the Tulsa area, all right, all along the line here, around where a slight risk of severe weather is, even extending back into the Texas Panhandle, right near Lubbock. So, again, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, expect some storms around 6 p.m., and then even, again, riding all the way up here, up this line along the Ohio River, we're going to expect some more potential supercells trying to fire off. 7 p.m., more of the same, but some of these cells really start to die. I think at this point it'll mainly be a damaging wind and large hail threat, if anything. And then by 8, 9, 10 p.m., more of the same. I will say, around 10 p.m., very intense supercell, incredibly intense supercell painted by the HRRR here near Vera. So we'll see what happens there. You can even see like almost a hook feature with the HRRR there, just interesting. But we'll watch that around 10 p.m., 11, 12. Nothing crazy, but maybe some large hail threat and damaging wind threat associated with these storms here in southern Missouri. And then those kind of sweep into portions of southern Illinois there. And by 4 a.m., we're still talking about more storms in Oklahoma City, back all across parts of Oklahoma, and the extreme portion, the extreme north portion of the Texas Panhandle there. And then 5, 6, 7 a.m., things start to die out finally. Is there a potential for a strong tornado? No. The strong tornado threat is incredibly low today. So, that's something to note. Again, even the chance that we see any tornadoes at all is kind of iffy. So the strong tornado threat's really low. By the way, that Charleston storm does have a special weather statement once more for 50-mile-an-hour winds and half-inch hail. Storm may intensify. Report severe weather if you do see any, if you can do so safely, obviously. But yeah, we're going to be here live again tomorrow for a severe weather threat across portions of the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes region here. Pretty large area to watch out for. And then we've also got ourselves a risk for severe weather actually going all the way back into parts of New Mexico. The tornado threat for tomorrow is non-existent as of right now. It's mainly looking like a damaging wind risk. The hail threat's pretty low, but we can't rule out some isolated large hail, especially with our New Mexico motor storms. And then we're also going to be live here on Saturday for that risk of severe weather. It's going to be going across pretty much all of the plains here, except for maybe the northern plains. So something to look out for sure. So, yeah, the significant tornado parameters are incredibly low. The values are very low. Looks like we actually had a pretty massive damage. Oh, that's right. We were doing our Hurricane Barrel coverage stream while this was happening. 82-mile-an-hour gusts just after we ended stream in Salina, Kansas, apparently. Salina, Kansas, however you pronounce that. So our storm up here that originally had a tornado warning does now have a special weather statement again. So Louisville, downtown, wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour are possible here. So look out for that one. What is going on with this warning? It's a double. Double header. It's weird. But yeah, that's kind of the severe weather threat for the next few days. Nothing too crazy. Things are really finally starting to calm down. And we have not gotten a break like this since, before April 26th. It's just been storm outbreak after outbreak after outbreak. It looks like we're finally about to see something calm down. And we've said this so many times over the past couple of months, so we can't be certain. But there's a chance that we don't see anything for the next couple of days. That is super significant, luckily. So again, if you're just not tuning in, the National Weather Service in Louisville has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Harrison County and south central Indiana, east central Meade County and central Kentucky, and north central Hardin County in central Kentucky. If you're in this area, we need you to get indoors immediately. We're expecting 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts to impact West Point, Rock Haven, and Lickskillet. To the north of Radcliffe there, southwest of Louisville. So, oh my gosh, that was a bad voice crack. I was like, so. Yeah, I mean, we've got a really impressive severe weather threat for today in terms of the damage and wind and large hail risk, but the actual tornado threat isn't super high for today. Of course, 4th of July had to bring us a severe weather outbreak, a double severe weather outbreak, in fact. It couldn't, and then, tomorrow we hardly have a risk at all. It's just pretty awful stuff. But yeah, tomorrow we've got over 30 million of Americans facing at least a marginal threat for severe weather. Today, we've got over 50 million Americans facing at least a marginal risk of severe weather. Saturday, we've got over 5 million Americans facing a marginal risk of severe weather. So, something to look out for there. I think it's probably time to start wrapping things up here since we literally only have one severe thunderstorm warning, and that one is really questionable if it deserves it or not. At this point, it's kind of a much weaker storm. Maybe some isolated 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts, but nothing too crazy. So I think we're going to end off our live stream here. Thank you for joining us. We will be back again live later, most likely, for another severe weather coverage. And then also, we're going to have a live stream tonight, most likely, on Hurricane Beryl as it exits its major hurricane territory, most likely. So, again, thank you all for watching this live stream. I really do appreciate it. Have a good 4th of July.